Welcome in, everyone, to this Date for Date podcast. I'm your host, Lisa Matthews, bringing you all things AZ. And today on the show, we have the lovely and a good friend of ours, Christina Spicer. On the show, she's co-CEO of the Girl Scouts Arizona Cactus-Pine Council.
Right, that's perfect.
So I finally said it all together, thanks to my notes. But again, you're a good friend of State 48 of mine as well. So I'm so excited to have you today and shine light on all the amazing things that you do.
Thank you. I'm super excited to be here. So thanks for the invitation.
And you look beautiful.
Thank you, and so do you.
I know this is your favorite shirt.
It's my favorite shirt.
So we're going to make sure you walk out of here with it today.
Oh, I already own it.
Okay, so maybe an extra one.
Yes, I love it.
Many.
You can never have too many.
You can always have a backup, too.
Yes.
I love a backup.
I have tons. Like my whole entire closet is spewing now. State 48.
My children's, mine, yes.
Yeah, I got the onesies. I got the dog fitted, all the things. But I know you're a binge watcher of the show, so you know how this goes. You know how this goes. I'm going to start with a quick little get to know you.
Okay.
Before we dive deeper into some things. Okay? It's not too bad, I promise.
Okay.
You're going to kill it. My favorite quote is...
So my favorite quote of all times is, joy is the oxygen to doing hard things.
When I read that, I teared up a little bit. It sounds so much like you because whenever I look at you, I think of joy, all good things, sunshine, smiles. So where did you get that quote and how does it maybe just impact you?
So it's kind of crazy. So in December, one of my coworkers gave me this really cool devotional book and I was reading through it. I was in the doctor's office and I was going through some different health challenges and I was reading through it and that line just popped out and I had to read it again. I was like, joy is the oxygen to doing hard things. I'm like, that's it. I just need to go into it with a different mindset, a different attitude, and realize that you can do challenging things. You can have hard things happen to you in life, but it's really your attitude of how you take that's going to play that out for you. And so the number of times that I said that to myself during the process that I went through, I was like, man, that.
Oh, wow.
So it's
super impactful.
Yeah.
I
so
love
that I hold on to that one.
I hold on to the word joy so much more than happiness because I feel like happiness is substantial at times. It's just a quick hit maybe, but truly finding the joy in things in life, included you're a mom, working mom, all the things, that's where it really hits and impacts people in their lives. I love that. How to use it. Okay. I actually, this next question was not meant for you. I guess I didn't erase this. What is better than leg day? That's not the question. That is not geared towards this interview. That was
if you feel it applies, though,
watch the previous episode.
Please answer if you feel comfortable.
You're going to say Girl Scouts is better than leg day, clearly. Right?
Girl Scout cookies.
Box of cookies
which we have here, y'all. We do not... Look at this. She brought the goodies.
I know they don't actually go out into the world until January, but
so we have some precious cargo here.
Yes, those are one of a kind.
$2,000 a box. First bidders that comments on the video.
What do we have here? You want to do your sales pitch here?
If I had a girl with me, she would be able to sell you.
She would kill it.
She'd kill it.
I would buy them all because I can't turn them down. Okay, next question that pertains to you.
Oh, yes,
my dear friend Christina. Okay, this is actually fitting. My favorite Girl Scout cookie is?
Oh, that's like picking a favorite child.
Okay.
And they're all really delicious. But I will say that a trefoil is my favorite, which is just a shortbread cookie. And it's mainly because you can do a ton with it. So you can make crust out of it. You can put whipped cream on top of it. Break it up over ice cream, put some strawberries on there. So good.
I have gone deep into that rabbit hole of things you can do with the Girl Scout cookies, like other recipes.
Amazing.
It's crazy.
And then what I find is that then I'm like, okay, well, I have to buy all the trefoils because now I have all these really great recipes that I'm going to use. And now my daughter's at this phase where she's like, I want to bake things. I want to do things. And we got really into the air fryer. So at some point this season, we'll have to figure out how you air fry a Girl Scout cookie at some point.
So you're Hispanic. We know that.
Yes.
Well, I know that. I'm telling you guys that. Coletta is your maiden?
So that's my maiden name, and that's actually Italian. But my mom's...
I just Mexify
No,
everything.
you're good. I like it. It was beautiful.
Look at Nick. Nick's like, that's Italian. Coletta.
Yes.
It was actually beautiful. I love the way you said it. But my mom's maiden name is Rodriguez.
Oh, so this whole time I'm like, Coletta.
I love it.
Well, it's almost like, you open up the freezer and tamales are there from like 10 years ago.
Absolutely.
Is it the
it's
Girl
the same
Scout?
thing
Yes.
all the time.
Open up.
And it's really funny because you find them in different places. So they're in the back of the freezer. There's some in the back of the pantry that you like hid away so that you didn't eat them all at once, or that your kids didn't eat them all at once.
Yes.
So they're all over.
My kids are going to be really happy when I come home.
Yes.
Mom points. I like this one. If I could be anyone for a day, I would be.
If I could be anybody for a day, that is a great question. I don't know. I mean, in some ways, I'm good being who I am.
Boom,
so
there it is.
I like being me for a day.
I love that.
And you know what? And sometimes in this role, and I think in what I've learned is through this process is sometimes you get to do a lot of things you don't necessarily want to be doing. So maybe like a day full of things that are really awesome and fun and connected to things I like to do.
I love that.
Yeah.
Like the unemployed version of you.
Yeah. But here's the thing. There are multiple times in a day that I'm like, do I actually get to do this for a living? This is really fun. Like I get to do some pretty cool things in my job that I really enjoy that doesn't feel like work, but I tell people I work really hard.
Yeah, exactly. Something most people, I like this one. Something most people don't know about me is.
Oh, there's a lot of things. So, well, I'll tell you this.
Yeah, please
tell you this. So my two best friends are going to die that I'm telling you this, but I think one thing people don't know about me, in 4th grade, I did a sea otter report that I loved and I worked really hard on to the point where I still have it. And I have it.
You should have brought it.
I know it, and it has like little ribbons that are tied to it. And I like drew a sea otter and I did all this fact finding about them. So we went on a girls trip and I'd kind of forgotten about all of it. We went on a girls trip to Bainbridge, and Bainbridge Island has all these like really beautiful places where you can see sea otters. And I was just like spewing out random facts about sea. Did you know?
Give us one.
That they carry their babies on their tummies, and then they can crack shells with their paws. They like massage their face when they get stressed. I mean,
I love you're doing all the movements that the otter movement.
Just to be one with the otter.
We are one with the otter today.
So, and so now it's become a joke, like, according to the research.
Yeah.
The 4th grade research that I did on sea otters. So, and they're just really cute. They're really cute. So I think if there is something to know about me, it's that I dig a sea otter.
I love that. Did you know that random facts of Nicholas encyclopedia over there?
No,
Okay.
I had no idea.
You stumped him, so that's fun.
I thought they like use rocks and stuff. They like play with rocks. I've seen videos of them playing with rocks.
They do.
Just like as a
They
toy.
do?
Yeah, they just like juggle little rocks and stuff. They like them.
They do. They have like a ton of fun with them.
Well,
Yeah.
I know.
now my Instagram heard me.
And now you're going to get
And
a
now I'm
bunch
going to
of
get
otter
a ton
videos?
of
Yeah, I mean,
amazing otter videos.
they're adorable,
I'm really
so-
excited.
or I'm
get
just
it.
going to start sending them to the two
Or
of you
that.
just so you
Please.
can like really
Otter
enjoy
meme.
Yes.
We need that. We need
otter
that.
videos
See
for
otter
everyone.
meme?
Yes,
Yeah, love
that
that.
make us feel
Lisa,
good.
what was your 4th grade animal report?
Oh man, I don't know. Actually,
See?
I volunteered for this project. I became very obsessed with the Titanic.
Wow.
And I told my teacher, I was like, this is I asked my teacher if I could make a report to tell the class about this tragedy. And I brought in a boombox and played something.
Are you serious? That's amazing. You're like,
Wow.
first we're going to open up.
During the whole spiel, I had to let them know what happened because I didn't think anyone had seen that movie or knew of this tragedy.
Like on the seas.
I'm like, this just happened, breaking news. That was like my first news report, I was like...
Did you like tell it? Did you tell it like from
From Jack and
Yeah.
Jack and Rose, completely from their point of view.
100%. You're like,
factual
starting in the
information?
beginning.
Rose did not let him on the damn door.
My boy Jimmy Cameron was
It
basically
was really
there.
sad.
Yeah.
So that was my 4th grade. A little different. Same but different.
That's okay. But still in the sea.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's the connection.
Yes,
There it is.
If there were otters there, it wouldn't be such a tragedy.
Rose wouldn't have saved the otter either.
Oh my god.
She wouldn't have saved the
Honestly,
otter. She would
the
have saved
otter-
Jack.
The otter
I mean,
probably
if you're saving the otter and not Jack.
I'm not gonna lie. I think the otter probably would have pushed Rose off the door too.
I mean, maybe.
No.
Well, here's the
They do
thing.
this,
When they get
do
stressed.
this. whatever that
they
was.
Hold on.
They hold on.
The sea otter lives in the sea. It's fine.
I told you. And now you get to a point where you're going to start just like really feeling connected to the environment and the sea.
Anytime I see an otter, I think of you.
Oh, I'm so honored.
And oddly enough, Titanic in the...
Yeah, and now next time I go to Bainbridge, I'm going to be like, do you know some fun facts about the Titanic? Let me tell you.
You're going to say watch episode, I don't know what episode it's going to be, but watch
32.
the State 48 podcast for more
to learn all about.
Subscribe because you don't want to miss this. Woo, that was great.
Cookies and sea otters.
I'm so happy we spent 10 minutes talking about
Sea otters and the Titanic.
Wow, that was great. Last question before we actually get into this. Growing up, I wanted to be
an actress. That was it was a serious thing. I think it wasn't until like college that I thought maybe I should probably apply myself to other things.
So did you do like school plays and theater? And
I did. That? So I was in a teen theater troupe in high school, where we basically went around and we traveled and talked about different teen issues, which was very like in alignment with what I did end up doing in my career. Yeah. But we would write our own scripts, and it was called Positive Force Players. And we traveled all over the place. Wow. And I loved it. And it was really a cool way to be able to teach kids about real issues and things that were happening in their lives, and also educate us as teens, because we were this theater troupe that was made up of, I don't know, I think there were like 50 of us. And you had to audition for it and all that stuff. And then we were having to write the scripts, and so you're learning alongside of actually doing it. And
that is so cool. Do they still do that?
No, the program is no longer, from my understanding.
I feel like you need to...
I know, start it again, right?
I feel like that's your next life mission.
I know.
From one troop to the next. Yeah, side hustle. That is really impactful. That's amazing.
Yeah, I loved it. So, but now it's funny thinking about it, because that is just not where my heart would be anymore, but
to be an actress.
I know.
Who's your favorite actress?
I don't know, all of them. Just the idea of it was just super fun. What did you want to be when you grew up?
I love how you guys are flipping the script on me.
I know, just for you today.
I mean, like when I was little, a dancer. I love dancing. But
Me too. Did you dance growing up?
Oh yeah, like baile folklorico, hip hop, jazz, all the things.
As this podcast has told us, she actually just wanted to be Selena.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to.
Yes.
I just wanted to be Selena.
That's who you would want to be for a day. If you could be anybody, it would be Selena.
The ending, but the life.
Right. That's another kind of level of tragedy.
Yes, but I would want to perform as Selena. That's another tragedy. Another movie I was obsessed with. Another report I did to inform everyone of the tragedy. Selena, but... Honestly, sports reporting. Once I kind of, around 10, like your daughter's age, I became very serious, taking the notes, watching the pre and post game, watching all the football. Like, when my dad would come home from work, I'd let him know what happened from the sports page. So
I love that.
I was able to fulfill that, so that's really cool. All right, now let's get into you.
Let's do it.
You're so sweet. Like, you're the person that's like, let me know more about you. This is all about you, Christina, and all the amazing work that you do, of course, with the Girl Scouts. And something like that always resonates with me is just like your heart to serve. When the first day I met you, I was like, wow, she has a powerful heart. Like, I could just feel it. I could see it in your connection, the way you communicate. And so I can only imagine how you run things here as co-CEO for the Girl Scouts. Tell us a little bit more about what you do, and we'll get into that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I have this incredible honor to serve alongside of Mary Mitchell in being co-CEOs for our council, which essentially means that we have an incredible membership here in Arizona that we get to serve. So we right now are currently serving almost 12,000 girls that are being supported by about 7,000 adult volunteers, and they are able to do incredible things in the community. And it's interesting being part of an organization and leading an organization that has such a rich history. So Girl Scouts started 111 years ago, before women had the right to vote, which is crazy to think about.
That part.
Yeah. And so how much has changed and how much hasn't changed. Yet the thing that I think is so powerful about Girl Scouting is that those values and really the identity and the tone of what we really want to see happen for girls has not changed. Even though some of the programmings that we offer, badges, patches, all that stuff has changed and evolved over time. But what hasn't changed is just making sure that there is space for girls to have a sense of belonging and having a space for girls to do the things that they want to do in life.
I love that. Wow. Yeah. Fun facts about, well, not fun.
Oh, we'll get into lots of fun facts about Girl Scouting.
Well, for me, I remember, seeing the Girl Scouts. I think I told you the story. Yeah. My mom was like very traditional, like you're not going anywhere after school, but home kind of, mentality. So I wasn't able to do any extracurricular activities. It's like you pick me up, I go home, do homework. Shout out to Mom. I'm not.
No, totally.
There's no drama there. I understood. But I always wanted to do it, but I never knew truly what it was about. So for those listening, like, what is the Girl Scouts program truly, like the core values, and what is it about?
Yeah.
What do they do?
So really it's about space. So it's about a girl's space that they can really be able to try on new things, and they can do things where they learn, and they also learn about sisterhood. I think one of the coolest parts of watching, so for me, my mom was the same way. So your mama was not alone in this. So I was born in California, grew up in California. And I think it was second grade, and I came home. My best friend had joined Girl Scouts, and I was like, "Mom, I have to." Like, they wear these really cool, like, brown uniforms. So cute. Like, I got to do it. And so she was like, "I don't know what this whole thing is. Like, this doesn't make any sense to me." So she sat in the back of the rooms, arms folded, and watched while we sat on, like, in a circle and did activities where there was a leader up at the front, and they were talking about different activities, and we had a chance to just get to know one another. And as I think back on it, I think that was the first time in my life that I knew that I had a sense of belonging, and that if I didn't show up, people would know. Like, that I had a spot in the circle, right? Wow, like, I had a seat at the table, which I think is a really important lesson for all of us to know and feel. And so my mom watched, fell in love with it. And then was our leader the next year. And to see my mom in a space of leadership, which that wasn't something that I had really seen her do. And most of the time you don't, right? Like, you see your mom as your mom. And so to watch her in a space of leading all of my friends and I to do things was really, really special. And so I don't think much has changed since then in that way, that you have a caring adult for these great girls who are all trying to figure out who they are. And it's a space where you just uniquely get to be who you are. And that's what the request is, right? Come uniquely as who you are. And then there are leaders and family and really building community together. And ironically, now my daughter is in Girl Scouting, and watching that play out all over again is something that's really, really special.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. It's like, you watched your mom be a lead, and now she watches you as a CEO. So, like, the top lead here doing her thing. So that has to be really special, like you said, just to be able to see it all transform in that way.
And I think, too, that you can make it what you want it, right? So one of the things is we are all about being girl-led. And so the girls get to decide, okay, what do we want to do? And this is where part of we all love cookies, and we respect the cookie. We don't mess with it.
We don't mess with the cookie.
Moment of silence for the cookies. But Stay
grounded.
Stay grounded in it. Okay. So now the thing that I think is really incredible as we start to really tell people the story about the power of cookies. We started selling cookies 109 years ago now. And they did it because they wanted girls to be able to do the things they wanted to do. And people didn't want to be able to fund girls to do things like learn how to drive a car, or to be able to learn to play basketball, or some of these other things. And so they're like, well, we need money to do that. So they did what they knew how to do, and they baked cookies. And they went out and they sold those cookies to be able to make that happen. And it's incredible to think that 109 years later, we're still doing the largest bake sale in the world to support girls to do what they want to do, and to really teach them financial independence. That how does it all break down? How does the box of cookie, really crumble, and who gets what kind of money? And also then the money that the girls get, they then figure out, how do I invest in myself? How do I invest in my troop? How do I invest in my community? And they're making this really significant impact. And one of the main reasons why we know that women don't start businesses is because they're financially afraid of taking that leap, right? They don't know, can I do it? I don't know how to budget. I don't know. So if we can eliminate that fear around financial independence, or like being fearful that they're not going to know how to do the finances, they are unstoppable. And they can really create whatever business or dream that they want to have, because they're not going to have that be a barrier for them.
Wow.
That's amazing. I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I'm shook right now.
I apologize that I mean, you guys are a fantastic partner of ours, and I'm embarrassed to ask this question.
No, go ahead.
I guess, so the girls get to keep a portion of the money of the cookies that they sell? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, so...
I don't think I ever knew that, nor did I ever even necessarily think about that, because otherwise it's essentially child labor if they don't keep the money. Right?
They out there hustling too.
Right.
Okay.
It's pretty incredible. So the way that it works, so a box of cookies $5. Our cost of goods is about $1, and we'll just say $1 just to make it easy. It's like $1.03. Right. So it's $1. And then the troop itself gets 90 cents per box that they sell. And then the remaining $3.10 comes to the council to support the work of the programming that we have, our 4 beautiful campsites that we have, and really ensuring the fact that that programming gets reinvested back into them. And that money also covers any kind of incentive. So there's a really cool reward card that the girls get to pick what they want to set their goals for. So they're learning about goal setting and how to achieve those things. And so when they get to that, then they earn those rewards. But the beautiful part is that 90 cents, that troop is essentially deciding what they want to do, how they want to make sure that the world is a better place because of the financial impact that they can make. And so essentially, like every year, so we sold 3.1 million packages of cookies just in our council alone last year. And so when you think about that, that's almost $3 million that our girls are really making financial decisions about how that impacts our community here locally. So they really are running their own little, program and business and deciding and learning these things. And the coolest part of all, so my daughter, she is like...
I can only imagine.
She's my exact opposite.
Top dog.
She like, this would not be her jam, right? Like, she's super cautious, and she's just very smart, and she's a great listener. And watching her have to come out of her shell, and that the cookie program really does build confidence, and there's such a confidence gap that exists in our youth, that I think that this program specifically helps to really kind of close that gap, because they're having to do something that's outside of their comfort zone. They get rewarded for it, and they get instant gratification from the fact that, wow, I have a product that people want. So it's kind of fun.
I am mind blown right now. Like,
that's
I want to
awesome.
sign up.
Let's go.
Right now.
I know.
For this program. And now I'm never, ever going to turn down a box of cookies. I mean, I already wasn't but it's so much more than the cookie.
Yeah, because it's about community service, right? So it's like this idea that way back in the day, some really, really smart women said,
this is incredible.
We are never going to we're always going to make sure that girls have access to the things that they are wanting, what's ever relevant for them at this point in time. Mm-hmm. And it's played out, right? Like, it's played out where girls today have this incredible program to learn really, really important skills, but then they get to turn around and they get to give it back to the community and invest in themselves and others.
Gosh.
That's awesome. I feel like, and I'm sure you have heard plenty of stories of where women in business have attributed their success to starting at Girl Scouts. I guess I haven't personally seen those stories. I feel like more stories like that should probably be about, especially right now in a time to where entrepreneurship is such a mainstream thing and all that kind of stuff, and everything is like video content, that I feel like I want to now see more of those videos being like, I couldn't have done this if I wasn't 10 years old figuring out how to sell cookies.
Truly.
Totally. And when you hear those stories, and sometimes you have different people and you ask them, were you by chance a Girl Scout? And they're like, oh yeah, that was my first, real side business, where I was going knocking on doors and having to talk to people and learning what that's about. So, and the proof is there. I mean, whether or not you look at women politicians, so our alumni base, so whether or not you look at women politicians or women business leaders, and it doesn't take much, right? Like, I was only in Girl Scouts for 2 years as a young person, but that seed that got planted into me, that having sisterhood is really important, and that's a really critical part to having a successful life for me, that I would have never had that if I didn't have that 2 years. And so we want to make sure that every girl has access to this, and that nobody has any of those fears. And so, as I was saying earlier about the troop and the troop leader really get to decide what they want to do and how they want to do that. So if they choose not to sell cookies, they don't have to. If they choose to do other things, they can do that. If they decide to travel. But it really allows for a lot of flexibility in making sure that the girls are doing what they want to do.
Wow. What I love about everything you just said, what it pertains to, really the core values that it teaches these young girls at that age. I mean, to know how to look at budgets, make decisions. But I think more importantly, one of the things we've talked about before is hearing no.
Yeah.
And overcoming rejection.
Yes.
Is huge. And they're being taught this literally door to door. So what have you seen in those teachings and those transformations with your troops?
Yeah. You know, I think every girl has a story about when they've had to hear no. And, you know, one of the things that our team talks a lot about is that no just means next opportunity. Like you just keep moving, right? And I think that it really allows for the girls, whether or not they're at a booth or they're going door to door, to really stay polite and kind and spread kindness. And if nothing else, just to, you know, say thank you so much, we appreciate you, which is a great business skill because you're going to learn and you're going to hear no every day. And so the sooner that we can really understand that, you know, that is not a failure that you need to internalize, that is not you, that is not about you, that is,
you are not the cookie.
You are not the rejection around the cookie. That's just, they're making a different choice and we respect that and we move forward.
Or it's like a seed planted. Because maybe the next Girl Scout comes around and it's like, you know what? You have to be immersed in something multiple times in order for someone to finally say yes. Yes. That's what I've learned in my short business career. But it's so true. It's like next opportunity, absolutely, or no, not right now.
No, not right now. Yeah.
I always teach on that. I mean, I help manage and I run a team now in sales. And I've talked to you about this. Yes. And I'm like, I always use the Girl Scouts as an example. I'm like, you are letting them outwork you because you hear no and you go in a little corner and think no one's going to buy from you or no one's my product. And I'm like, these girls are out here hustling on the corners, taking no's and saying, and still getting crazy amount of sales. It's insane, but it's overcoming that rejection.
Absolutely.
100%. And that's a life skill that especially us females have to endure and learn.
Yes, it's an important life skill. And to be able to feel like I can hear that and I'm okay. Like I'm still standing. I'm not going anywhere if somebody says no to me. And then how to stay positive about it. And that's just, again, going back to that mindset conversation is that, hey, that's okay. Like maybe I go, you know, my daughter and I have done booths before where we sell 20 boxes and for 2 hours. And that's a lot of time. And, you know, you go other places and you sell 200 boxes or whatever. And so it's just about being out there and putting yourself out there, which isn't that what it's all about, right? You just continue to do things that maybe push you outside of your comfort zone, that becomes your comfort zone. But you just got to keep going.
Yeah. Give us some insight into, you know, truly like what the program entails. So say you have a new sign up, what does it look like for them? Is there a duration or is it pretty much ongoing? So kind of more insight into
So what happens is that, so you need 2 leaders, so 2 co-leaders, and those co-leaders, then you need to have a group of girls that come together. And then from there, the volunteers will go through a pretty significant amount of training to make sure that they understand all the things that happen within Girl Scouting. So they understand the program and the patches and the badges and the unique council programs that they can do. And then each troop gets to basically decide how they want to meet. So for example, my daughter's troop, they meet twice a month. So they meet every other Sunday. And then now the girls are old enough at this point in time where they're actually this Sunday going to do a retreat where they're going to lay out, here are the activities that we want to do this coming year. Here's our goals for our fall product and for cookies. And this is how much money we want to raise. These are the service projects we want to do. And so the girls are really learning about that project management element. And now the majority of our girls are in 4th and 5th grade. So they really are leaning into that. And they've had the experience over the years to do that. And then they go out and they do it. and they make that happen, and they develop new friendships, and some girls decide to go to camp, which is incredible, and they overcome lots of challenges and learn healthy risk-taking in the outdoors. But the programming really does consist of 4 main pillars, so STEM, outdoors, entrepreneurship, and life skills. So everything that we do kind of fits inside of those 4 pieces, and then everything has a patch to it. So we love t-shirts and we love patches. So there's a t-shirt for everything, there's a patch for everything, and it's that
cute t-shirts.
Cute t-shirts
in our partnership.
We're ready to do another one, our third one. And so those are the kinds of things where we're really allowing it to be culturally relevant for girls and for their community of what they see that they want to have happen. So that's the unique program with it. So the other element too is that we want girls to discover self, connect with others, and take action within their community. So within those 4 pillars, those 3 elements are really what we kind of revolve around when we think about our programming. But it's a large enough framework that every girl can kind of see themselves and every leader can see themselves in that space.
Wow. That's like it's a true side hustle for these girls, like going to school, then they have their meetings and retreats, and
they're making it
booths
happen.
And sales. That's amazing. Learning how to truly manage it all.
Exactly.
So anyone can put together. It doesn't have to be correlated to a school. So
Correct.
That's what I thought it was.
Yep. So you can have it be something where, so my daughter is actually in a community troop, which essentially means that I put her into the system, and I all of the girls in our troop are basically within 5 miles of each other, which for me actually was really special because it allows for our girls to understand that there's a bigger world outside of their school. And I don't know about you, but you get to a point where, you know, you remember back in the day where you're like, oh, these are the only kiddos that I know, but how do we broaden their community out a little bit more? And so her troop has 12 girls in it. And I think out of the 12, only 3 or 4 of them go to the same school.
Okay. Yeah, that's great.
So whether or not it's a faith-based community, or whether or not it's a school or a community center, or just people who live 5 miles away from each other.
Well, it teaches diversity too.
Which is a core element around our diversity, equity, and inclusion and racial justice elements, and really ensuring the fact that people know that we're here to serve everyone, and we have a really diverse jurisdiction. So our council covers 2/3 of the state and all of Navajo Nation and Hopi lands. So it's huge. So we really want to make sure that everybody can have access to that.
Yeah. So what are some of the efforts that you guys do to kind of raise that awareness and more insight into truly like what this is about?
Yeah. So, I think so we have an incredible marketing team. And one of the unique things, it's a blessing and a curse, right? So when you have a brand that is as well known as Girl Scouting, I think sometimes people think I know what that is, and so they don't look again.
I think I fall into that.
Yeah,
realm there.
Totally. You just don't look again. You're like, oh, I don't know if I did that or I didn't do that. Mm-hmm. So really to be able to do, Nicholas, like you were talking about, like this great storytelling around who is Girl Scouts and who are we today and how are we relevant for girls today? And part of the way that we do that are by having really unique partnerships. So I would say the partnership that we have with State 48 Foundation and State 48 is one of those really unique avenues, because people kind of go, wait, I don't get it. Girl Scouts and State 48 Foundation, and then you start to really kind of peel the layers back, and you're like, both organizations deeply care about Arizona and deeply care about the pipeline of entrepreneurs and caring for them and teaching entrepreneurship skills. And what better collaboration than that? And really the opportunity to be able to have our girls see that other people can tell their story too. Because I can yell all day long that the 5 skills that we teach girls on the cookie program are on the back of that box. Then nobody knows that.
Wow, no.
Yeah,
look at this.
So there it is. So that's what we do. And that's what the program is about.
Can you read them off for us, Lisa?
We just talked about reading out loud and dyslexia.
Never mind.
And the fear behind it, but let me go. Just kidding. Wow. Like it's just right in your face. I don't think I've ever
noticed it on the back of the box.
It.
Yeah. So the 5 skills are
goal setting, decision making, money management, people skills, and business ethics. Wow.
And I would add a 6th skill, which is managing uncertainty. I think over the last 3 years, any business owner has really had to figure out how to manage uncertainty and really going with the flow of how to every day may look a little bit different. And our girls had to learn that exact same skill. And so we can scream that from the rooftops, but when you have other partners and you have other really critical, whether or not it's a philanthropic donor or a community partner that is basically advocating and telling your story on your behalf, is a really powerful thing. So I think that's really how we're spreading the word, by making sure that the partnerships, deeply impact our girls, but also making sure that we have an opportunity to tell our story.
Yeah, this is huge. My mind is blown, truly, about like all. Did you know any of this, Nicholas? Like,
no, not enough.
And this
Definitely not enough to be a partner. Mike handles a lot of this partnership. No, I'm just kidding.
Put on my but the
Mike
education
has seriously done a lot with you guys. Like, I mean, he's gone to over the last couple of years. He's told me at least 10 times from this office, "Hey, I'm going to a Girl Scouts meeting. Hey, I'm going to a Girl Scouts meeting." It's just like
very involved.
Yeah, it's been an awesome partnership the whole time too. So.
Yeah, we've been so grateful, so appreciative of it and what we've been able to do and take it so much deeper than just a collaboration shirt, which has been great.
And there's a 5K.
There is a 5K.
So we're going to eat cookies, then run.
That's right. Life balance. Life balance. It's always important.
Put that on the box as well. So tell us more about that. The 5K.
Yeah, so it's so this will be our 3rd annual 5K, and we're going to be hosting it over at Westgate, so February 24th of this year, and it is the last weekend of the cookie program, and the whole concept of it is really to ensure the fact that we're celebrating our girls, celebrating the community, and it's just a beautiful community event. And anybody who's ever done any kind of race, the running community is really special. There's this really beautiful experience of just encouraging each other, celebrating, regardless of what your time is, but just to get out there and just to cheer each other on. So this unique partnership is one that really allows us to both tell our stories about encouraging entrepreneurship. And so that it's been great. So the first year we did it, it was really funny because, and I can share more about how we got into the race piece, but
tell us all the things.
So I had a really, I'm not a runner. I don't run. I think you run a mile and I should get like a medal for that.
I think you deserve a medal.
I just don't do that.
A mile.
And so 5 years ago, my dad passed away. And when he passed, it was really a shock. He passed away in his sleep. And so it was not something that any of us were prepared for. Not that you're ever prepared for something like that, but it was pretty tough. And people were like, "Oh, are you going to go to grief therapy? What are you thinking about doing?" And nothing just felt right for me. And I think that was just not something that I was wanting to do. Mm-hmm. So I decided that I was going to go. I ran into a friend who was running, and she was like, "The best therapy I've ever had is running." And I was like, that sounds fun. So I bought a pair of shoes and just started running. And I signed up for a half marathon to really help set up that goal. And it was this really healing process to just be out there and to feel the rhythm of running. The thing that got me was, because there was no way I would ever be in the running community otherwise, was just the spirit of what that felt like at the start line and at the finish line, and how celebratory it was, and that everybody has their why for being out there. Mine was a grief process. Other people, it was whatever their process was. But for me, it was kind of special because my best friend one day, she said to me, "Hey, Christina, I just want to make sure you know that you're running and you're doing all this, that I just want to make sure you know that your dad isn't going to be at the end of the finish line." And my heart didn't know that, but I think my head knew that. And so it really started to help me to process, like, wow, like, this is a finale. This is something where he is not going to be at the finish line. This is kind of my own personal process. And for me, I don't think I could ever run 3.1 miles ever again in my life. But the idea of creating something collectively as a whole to celebrate entrepreneurship that could impact our girls to have that similar experience that I have for whatever their why is was really cool. And so it was
amazing,
really special.
I think this is the first time someone's made me like tear up. I'm like, I'm supposed to make you cry. I'm asking the question over here. That is so, it's so true. Like, your driving why in anything in life, and how it all relates and ties back to the Girl Scouts, which is so amazing.
And so giving them that chance to feel it.
Okay, so let me give us the details of the 5K. Well, we know, but the listeners.
Yes.
The details of how to sign up, where it's going to be, how do we train.
Like,
Cookies part of the training.
Cookies part of the training. Okay. Get some good shoes, get some good socks. Yeah. So it's a 5K. It happens February 24th, Westgate. Registrations will open up in November. And we'll have some really fun giveaways and prizes to kind of incentivize people for wanting to join us. This year we're adding in a really cool element. So there's a family fun run that happens at the very beginning, which is great. It's only a mile. Yeah. And then we're going to do a cookie eating contest in between the family fun run and the 5K this year, which I think will just be wonderful for folks who want to just really be part of that environment and the community and the celebration of it all, and give them something fun to watch too. So
Nick,
I'm looking forward to that.
Are you going to do the cookie eating contest? I feel like that's
probably not. I have a gluten intolerance.
I know, that's true.
We have a gluten-free cookie.
I do know that.
Of course they do. I was like,
do know that.
Hello.
No, I like that. So is the idea too to just kind of grow it as like a whole event day, essentially, right? To where there is the 5K going on, but you can kind of start to add other things to it, carnival-esque or just kind of environment and just fun atmosphere type of stuff.
Exactly. Where it's just, and the girls have worked so hard, right? So the cookie program is, I think it's 6 weeks, 7 weeks. Ish, feels like a long time. So they go through that process, and then just to have something that's a community event,
celebratory,
and fun. So
so it's like their end of the so there's a seasonal process here. With, it's not ongoing sales.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
It's just that time. So it starts Martin Luther King weekend. So I believe this year it's January 19th or 18th. And then we'll end the last weekend. So February 25th will be that last weekend. So
are
just
they
those 2
still
months.
meeting in between the
So some are, and some will continue to do that. And it really depends, depending on what the girls' goals are, right? So some girls' goals are, I'm going to sell 100 packages of cookies and then we're done. And then we're going to do other things with that. Other girls, they're going big. They go big, and they don't mess around. So every troop's a little bit different. Every girl is a little bit different, depending on what their comfort levels are. But really, we just want this to be something where it's a learning experience, low pressure, and just something where they can achieve some things and feel proud of themselves.
Wow. This podcast was so needed. I think I learned so much, and I'm ready to sign my daughter up. I'm ready to sign myself up, which I know there's isn't there an older, you sent me an email.
Yes, Troop Pearl, which is for, so if you have not ever been a Girl Scout or you're an alumna you just come back. We go through, we meet 4 times a year. You get to experience really cool Girl Scout things. But it's
my calling.
It's an adult Girl Scout troop, and it is
I'll ask
wonderful.
my mom. She'll say yes this time.
And yes, exactly. And it's great. So it's $75 to join, and $50 of it goes. So it's $25 for a girl to join Girl Scouting.
Okay.
And so essentially it's allowing for 2 girls the opportunity to join Girl Scouts, and then the $25 actually pays for your membership too.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's a really fun program.
Just take all my money. I want to support you guys in every way possible now.
Thank you.
I am. And I hope everyone listening to this too, because I think it's very true where you hear something and then you just don't really seek more about it. Because my mom said no 20 some years ago, that's my story. And I never looked more into it. I was like, I just wasn't a part of that. I don't even know what that truly is. Totally. So you just unveiled a whole new world for me and others. Nick?
Thank you.
Yeah, I just think it's the fact that it's just something that you've always heard about, but not knowing what it is exactly, right? Before we started working with you guys, I never even thought about it as the entrepreneur aspect of things, but when I started hearing that, it's like, it's exactly what they're doing. You know what I mean? At a very young age, so no, it's definitely very cool.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you both.
Oh my gosh. We love you.
Oh, I love you both. Thank you.
And the otters and all the things. It's such a great episode.
I love the otters. Save the otters.
Save the otters, everyone, except for Nick. He's an orca fan, so that's the next episode. All right, we laughed a lot. We cried a little bit. Now it's time for cookies.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Everyone watching, we'll see you next week.